Hey y'all, welcome back to Adventuring with Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Y'all, I am doing something with Wynston that I haven't done in over a year, and that is staying at a paid campground. Now, as you guys know, I mostly boondock because Arizona is full of free camping land. Like, why would I go to a paid campground in Arizona where there's people and dogs and noise and generators when I can camp for free in the national forest or on BLM land away from everything, right? So once you get east of Texas, though, however, um, free camping land is very hard to find. And the last 3 years, I drove around the country with Wynston, and I had to take advantage of a lot of paid campgrounds. So I've done my fair share of campground camping in my minivan camper. And I will start by saying that I've never been turned away from a paid campground in my minivan, even staying at really nice KOAs, which stands for Campgrounds of America. I've never been denied. So never been an issue for me. Now, although I prefer, obviously, free camping away from everything, I decided that I kind of want to do a little switch up, and there's actually a paid campground that I've stayed at before at my new destination, and I'm not going to disclose what it is yet, but I'm really excited to go back. The last time I was there was in 2020, and although the price has increased quite a bit, I'm really excited about it, and I even invited Maddie to go there with me. So we will be going on a new adventure next week. And since it's been a while, like 15 months since I've stayed at a paid campground, I wanted to do a refresher and really talk about how I prepare for staying at a paid campground. So before we get into it, give this video a thumbs up. I know that it will be very helpful since this isn't something I talk about often. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. For the most part, when I'm choosing a paid campground, unless I'm actually out on the road traveling and I need to stop somewhere, I do all of my reservations online. And what's nice about making an online campground reservation is that there is all of the info that you need, from check-in time to check-out time, just like a hotel, to all of the amenities that they have, things in the area, different rules and policies, all that good stuff. So when you are choosing a campground, make sure you look through everything before you book your reservation. And so you know what you're getting yourself into, because it's much better to show up somewhere when you know what they have to offer. The campground that we are staying at does have all of the basic amenities such as showers, so that's really nice. But our campsite also has an awning and a picnic table, which is great. So although the weather will be nice, it is also nice to have a shaded area with a table that Maddie and I can share. Now, we will be sharing a camp spot because you can have up to 2 vehicles per camp spot. So we can both park in there, especially because we're small. And typically, when you are reserving a campground, it will show you what the length of the spot is. And it will tell you if the ground is paved, if it's grass, if it's gravel, if it's dirt. A good campground website will have all of that information for you. So where we are staying, our spot is 53 feet long and it is paved. So it will be really easy for us to get in there. Furthermore, we have water at our campsite, a fire ring, as well as full electric. So we will have 50, 30, and 20 amps, and it's crucial that you know if your campsite has electricity, how to be prepared for that. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I learned the hard way and I want you guys to learn so you don't end up in a conundrum like I did once. So one time I showed up to, sorry, I have some things I'm going to show you. One time I showed up to a campground and I knew that they had an electric box. And I just assumed that they had like a regular wall outlet, right? Like a 20 amp wall outlet on the electric box, but it didn't. All it had was a 50 and a 30. And those plugs don't look like your standard like 2-prong plug-in, right? So even though I had a 25-foot extension cord so I could charge my power stations, I needed an adapter because I couldn't plug the extension cord into the electric box since it was only 30 and 50 amps. So here's my extension cord. I always keep it in my rooftop box because if I have an electric hookup, I don't necessarily have to use my solar because I can plug my power stations into the electric box to charge. So I have a 25-foot extension cord. This is a standard cord from Walmart, but I also have a 30 amp adapter. I had to buy this for that campground, so I purchased it at Lowe's. It was $10 at the time, I believe, but again, that was a few years ago. So I could plug it into the 30 amp plug. So this is something to be very aware of because if you only have a 50 and a 30 amp box, you won't be able to plug your standard plug into it, whatever that is. So you will need an adapter. So I always have the 30 amp adapter with me so I can use my extension cord. The electric boxes that I'm going to have next week at the campground do have a 20, 30, and 50, but since I have this, I can just use the 30 amp. Maddie can use the 20, we can share, but I am fully prepared with that. I also have a surge protector as well. So when I am charging my power stations, I can use the surge protector. And yeah, so I can be extra safe. So these are things I carry with me 100% of the time. Even though I haven't gone to a paid campground in 15 months, the extension cord can still be used for if I show up somewhere and I see an electric outlet and it's kind of far away, but I can reach it and I have to plug something in and it's an emergency. I have the cord and I have the surge protector. And that also brings me to, you want to make sure that you have your wall chargers for your power station. So for example, I will charge my Van Power's power station at the campground, so I have my wall charger. Typically I just plug in my solar, right? But I need to have those extra adapters. So come prepared with all of that when you are camping at a paid campground. Now, since Wynston can't be off leash at a paid campground because there are other people and rigs and whatnot, I do have a few things to keep him safe. And one of those is a long line so I can, attach this onto his harness and then attach it onto my van or something else. And I also have the big pet fencing so I can make a nice big playpen for him at camp as well. So there are a couple of different options to keep him safe, keep him from going into other people's, campsites, because it's not like a super tight campground like a lot of them are. We do have space. But again, he can't be off leash, so I need to keep him on the long line or keep him in the playpen. Before I show up to a campground, I like to look at the map. Of course, you will be able to find a map of your campground. I want to know where the showers are. I want to know where dumpsters are. I want to know just a layout of the land. And typically when I arrive, I like to do kind of a loop, just drive around, see what I'm getting myself into. Although I have stayed at this campground before, I want to see if anything's changed. So I have all of the electric that I need. And I'm obviously going to take advantage because I'm paying for it, right? So I'm going to take advantage, and then everything I have to keep Wynston safe. And it's also nice to know that I have the awning, we have the fire ring, we have the picnic table, because that will just allow us to have a little different of an experience, and I'm going to take advantage however I can. It's also nice to know, like I said earlier, like what your checkout times are, check-in time, is it gated, do they have security, all of those things. And you can find that on the website, I'm sure, of the campground that you are looking into. It is absolutely imperative that you know what you're getting yourself into when you go to a paid campground, especially if you have electric. It's important for me to know what the ground is going to be like. So I might have to pull out my levelers to get my vehicle level, which is not super common at campgrounds, but it can happen. And also know what I need to expect in terms of the electricity. But again, since the electric box that we have is 50, 30, and 20 amps, I am prepared with everything I need. And I also always want to make sure that I have Wynston's long line, his fenced playpen, and his regular playpen to make sure that he's as comfortable and safe as possible when we are around other people. So next week we check in, and we're just staying there for 2 nights. Like I said, it's a little bit pricey, but it'll be worth it once you see where we're staying. I am so excited because it's been a while, and I don't mind spending the money because, again, it's been 15 months since I've done anything like this, and I look forward to sharing that experience with you. I will also be talking a little bit more about the electric box, the water spigot at our camp, and those types of amenities. So if you haven't stayed at a paid campground before, you can see what it's all about. But remember to turn on your notifications so you can see when I upload all of that new content next week, and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't yet, and I will see you next time.